Hello, my name is Lou Hughes and welcome to LifeLamp Studios. We're here today to talk to you about our new dimmer that we've been selling over the last 12 months in the United States, Brazil, and Southeast Asia, China. This dimmer is a combination 110 volt to 240 volt dimmer. I want to show you the installation and programming instructions for the dimmer today. So first thing, the dimmer comes with a enclosure which is pre-assembled to the bottom of the unit, and a cover which comes outside the enclosure and just found inside the box. Now there's two ways to wire the dimmer. You can either go directly through the use of the bladders that come installed or enclosed in the box. Those are included. So if you just wanted to run Romex or you wanted to run general purpose cable, you could run it right through the bladders, and they move back and forth. They can then be tightened so that they won't move back and forth, or you could choose to remove the bladders altogether. You want to focus in on these, and this way people can see these bladders. So I can take these bladders out, and you can see they're just a regular half-inch flexible bladder. It's plastic, it's nylon. Everything included in the kit is UL approved. These are flame retardant nylon bladders. Now, if you're going to be installing the dimmer with rigid conduit, then you would just use a half-inch rigid conduit fitting. You can see I'm just pulling the cap off, sticking it through, and I'm going to seal it closed. And now you can see you can just attach your rigid conduit straight into the bottom of the box. And once that's finished, I'm going to be able to cover the bottom of the enclosure with these four pre-included screws. Now, if you're using flexible conduit, something like this, you can also use this flexible conduit with a flexible conduit fitting. And again, everything that you use is going to be half-inch with this dimmer and dimmer electrical enclosure. The LifeLamp dimmer comes with a mounting mechanism included with the product for convenience, and it's a 45-degree mounting mechanism. If you hone in on it, you can see that it's super easy to install on the wall as a result. It comes pre-assembled to the dimmer, just as you see here. When you receive the dimmer, only thing you need to do is unscrew the top so that then you can pop it off. I'm sorry, I went in the wrong direction. So you want to unscrew the top, and then it will pop off, okay? Just like that. The mounting side stays on the dimmer. The piece that goes on the wall, you just pull off by loosening that screw. So, now we find a spot on the wall where you have some studs, easy enough to do, and you just install this mounting bracket. Now the mounting bracket has holes in the front that enable you to push the screws through and install the screws and mounting bracket into the wall. I'm sorry, it goes this way. The bigger holes are in front, the smaller holes are in back. Remember that, the bigger holes in front, the smaller holes in back. Very easy to install now. I will just, you want to install the screws first, okay? The top screw first. Okay. Okay. Okay, now you can reach through and install the bottom screw after it's hung on the wall. For those of you that are really picky, you can make sure you level it. In my case, I'm just going to eyeball level it. Okay? Now that mount is solidly on the wall. Okay? Now, after I'm done with the wiring, some people like to hang the unit on the wall first. Okay? Some people like to wire it first. It is really a matter of personal preference. You can either hang it on the wall first, or you can wire it first. Whenever you want to attach it to the wall, it is super easy. There's a mechanism in the back. You just hang it on that mechanism, and then you're going to reach around over the top and screw the screw down. Okay? Very easy. So, for now, we're going to wire it first. Then when it's done, I can show you how we mount it. So now we're going to show you how to wire the dimmer. One of the most important things that I can tell you about wiring the dimmer is that you must wire the ground first. This is incredibly important for your own safety, for the safety of the barn or the house, so that everything remains grounded and safe. Please, the first wire you connect should be the ground wire. So the way we've designed this is so that the left side of the frame has got power, and you can see, if you can just focus in on that on the inside, you can see that AC power, is on the right side as you're looking at it, and the two zones are on the left side. Okay? The negative pole, or what we call the neutral pole, is always to the left of the hot or positive pole. It's well marked inside the dimmer, so you'll be able to see it. In the center, you'll see our 0 to 10 volt interface. Okay? And there are, as you can see, 4 0 to 10 volt wires, one going to zone 1 and one going to zone 2. And you can see inside we've given the color-coded nomenclature for each zone. So zone 1, positive is yellow, negative is brown. Zone 2, positive is purple, negative is gray. Very easy to see, clear, and easy to attach and understand. Lastly, when we go in to attach the wires to the product, some people are happy to attach the wires with the frame in place. Others, like myself, like to have the frame fully removed for easy access to all the connectors. So when we join you again, we'll have the connector removed, and I'll be showing you how to wire the dimmer. So I'm just loosening the two screws on the outside of the frame. There's two poles, two screws with bolts that are exposed on the outside of the frame. I'm just unloosening them with a ratchet and a 5.5 millimeter ratchet adapter. Okay? I've done that. Now I can remove the frame altogether. And what I personally like to do is I like to install the cover onto the frame before I do any of my wiring. We include 4 screws with the unit. You can see these screws here. They just screw right into the cover and frame assembly. So I will just pop these in really quick. Okay, as I explained before, I took the frame off, I assembled the cover onto the frame, and I slid it down the wire. Okay, this gives me very easy access to the connectors. Come on in and take a look. Now the first connector I'm going to wire is going to be the ground, okay? So as you can see here, I'm popping the ground through, okay? And I'm going to screw that down nice and tight. This is my power ground, okay? Second connector I'm going to attach is going to be the neutral. Okay, and that's going through all the way. Now I'm going to tighten that down. Be careful not to allow any of the threads from the wire to jump across and short and connect to any other terminal. So try to, if you're going to go on the right side, try to stay on the right side. I know you guys know what you're doing. I don't have to remind you of that, but that is important. So now my power is totally wired. Okay, so in this case I removed my rigid conduit adapter and I put in my flexible, a 1/2 inch flexible conduit adapter, installed my flexible conduit with my zone 1 wiring, okay? So now I will install my zone 1 wire, and I still have flexibility here to move this back and forth to the degree that I want to. And I'm going to take my neutral. I know these are both the same color, but imagine, I know that this one on the left is my neutral, right? So I'm going to be running that through, and again, I'm going to run them on the outsides to make sure that I don't have wires touching each other after the install. Okay, so I'm going to run them on the left-hand side. Okay, bringing that one through. I'm going to run this one on the left-hand side as well. This is connecting my zone 1 lighting. And preferentially, I always want to go straight from the dimmer out to the zone. I don't want to go through a common neutral if I absolutely don't have to. Now, this, I will not show you this today, but for anybody that's going to be wiring up using what's called the slave mode, the slave mode also wires straight here. If I had a slave controller, I don't have that on hand today, that wiring would be coming through the conduit as well. I'd be connecting the cables as shown. Again, zone 1 is yellow positive, brown negative. Zone 2 is purple positive, there's my purple. Gray negative, there's my gray. So these two guys right here are going to be my zone 2, and these two, my yellow and my brown, are going to be my zone 1. So those would also go through once you finish wiring them. Now that I'm finished wiring, okay, I'm not going to install zone 2 because it's going to be exactly the way I would have installed zone 1. Now I am just going to lift the dimmer up and I'm going to slide it down all the way through, right, onto the dimmer, and I'm going to put it over the posts. You see the 2 posts here? And then I've got my 2 bolts that I took off earlier, and I'm just going to be putting those onto either side, either one of the screws on either side. You can see that they just screw right down nice and easily, right? And I'm going to do the same thing over here, right? I'm going to put that on, I'm going to screw it down, and I can tighten that up with my 5.5 millimeter, right? So now I am basically fully assembled, okay? I've shown you 2 different views. One is with what would be Romex or some kind of exposed wire directly through a bladder. The other side is a flexible metal conduit directly into the enclosure, and you can see it's extremely clean. You don't need another enclosure. You don't need to purchase another enclosure as you do for the other dimmers that are in the marketplace today. LifeLamp provides you with everything that you need to get going. The mount that we showed you earlier and the full enclosure, and this is all UL certified. Now I'll walk you over to the wire, and you can see easily that I can install this onto, easily install this onto the wall. Now it's installed on the wall. I just want to get my screwdriver, and again, that screwdriver is going to be used to screw in the top, right? And just screw that down till it's tight, right? Okay, so as we were doing before, we are just going to tighten this down, and you've really got to press. That's the trick to this. Don't go lightly when you're starting. You've got to give it some force to get it started through the hole, okay? And then you're going to bring this all the way down as tight as you can get it till it's tight. And then that dimmer is going to be nice and tight on there, okay? Now you've got the ability to go plus or minus about 20 degrees. And this is nice for when you want to program the dimmer later on, and that will be the next step, so that if I want to be able to see that backlit LCD display very easily, you know, when it operates, I might have it at a negative tilt, but when I want to program it, I might want to bring it up to that plus 15 tilt. So this section of the tutorial videos for the LifeLamp dimmer is going to review programming the dimmer. So we've shown you how to set the dimmer up, we've shown you how to attach the electrical, and now we're going to be showing you how to program it. So you'll see that the normal LED is showing that the dimmer has power. That's a blue LED that's blinking. That shows you have power. Now you're going to press the power button. And we're going to go back out to the main menu. Be patient when you hit the power button for the first time, because it may take 30 seconds for the display to come on. Okay? So here you can see we're looking at the main menu. This is the display menu. So you can see the mode is manual. You can see zone 1 reads 0%, zone 2 reads 0%. That's the light intensity. And then you can see the date. So if I want to go in and program the dimmer, I'll press the program button. Once I press the program button, the first thing it's going to ask you to do is program the time. You hit enter. Once you hit enter, you can now see the time is blinking. You're going to hit enter again. Now you can change any one of these figures. So if I want to change the 1 down to a 0, and I want to change the 0 up to a higher number, I'm going to go up to 955, because that's what it is now. I went up to 10, sorry. I'm going to go down. I'm going to go up to 9. Okay, 9:55 a.m. You can toggle the A and the M to 11:06:16. So now I'm going to hit enter, and that saves the time. The next thing I can do is look at the modes, okay? Programming the modes. You can either be in manual mode, you can be in slave mode, or master mode. The slave mode uses a 0 to 10 volt interface that we talked about earlier when we talked about the connections. So slave mode is not something we'll be going over today, except that when you want to be operating in slave mode, you'll hit enter, and you can see now the mode says slave. Now all the programming will be driven over the 0 to 10 volt interface from a secondary controller. Okay? I'm going to go back to program, I'm going to go back to mode. Now we're going to select manual, and this is where if you're coming into the house and you want to change the lighting manually, if you're cleaning, doing whatever, you can do so. Now I'm in manual mode here. I'm going to hit enter once after I come into program manual mode, okay? And I can scroll back and forth. If I wanted to go to 100%, I'm just going to hit 100% there. If I want to come over to the other side, I'm just going to scroll to the right. I'm going to hit 50% here, 60%. If I want to save these settings, this is very important. If I want to save these settings, I need to hit enter. Once I save them, my manual settings are now saved, and that's what the lighting will be in the house as you control it manually. For programming the lighting for master mode, you have to go to the second selection on this program interface, hit enter. You're going to have the ability to program zones 1 and 2 because we have 2 separate zones. or you can program the two the same. We're going to start with zone 1. After you start with zone 1, you're going to be asked which program day you wish to program. If you've already programmed a bunch of days already and you want to go back and edit a day, you can do it through this interface. In this case, I've programmed nothing, so I'm going to start with program day 1, okay? So I'm going to hit that. I've got to hit enter twice. I've got to make the program day line stop blinking, and I want just the number to blink. Here I can go and increase the number as much as I want if I have program days already programmed. In this case, I don't. I'm just getting started. So I'm going to select program day 1. Now the first period, the first lighting period is going to come up. I'm going to hit enter. Okay? Enter. Now it's going to start at midnight, which in our case on our dimmer shows 0000 a.m. That is considered midnight. I'm going to now have the choice for an end time. I'm going to go to 6 a.m. Okay? So I'm going to hit enter here, and I'm going to go across. I'm going to increase the time to 6 a.m. In this case, I'll use 6 a.m. exactly. Okay? And I'm going to hit enter. Now it's going to ask me for the light intensity. Since this is overnight, from 12 p.m. to 6 a.m., I'm going to choose 0 because I want the lights to be off. Now the change time, okay? This is the change time you want going into this lighting period or the next lighting period. I'm going to hit 0 here. No, I'm sorry. I'm going to hit a change time here because I want this to be my sunrise. It is, your change time applies to the end of the lighting period. So whatever lighting period you're programming, when it asks you your change time, you're doing it for the end of that period, okay? So in this case, going from 12 p.m. to 6 a.m., I want this to be 30 minutes because I want this to be the sunrise. Hit enter. Now I'm going to the second lighting period. Enter, enter. Now this one I'm going to have go until 6 p.m. So I'm going to keep the 601. Sorry, I'm going to come across here. You have to toggle this through. See how the PM just switched? I'm going to go to 6 p.m. Come across. Hit enter. Now the intensity during the day, I'm going to hit enter again because this whole line's flashing. Okay? And I'm going to take the intensity up to, I've got to toggle it up. Let's take it up to 60% during the day. Let's take it up to 100%. We'll do 50%. Okay? The change time, and again, the change time is for the end of the period. So in this case, it's a sunset, right? So I'm going to hit enter again, scroll over to my 30, bring that up to 30, hit enter. Now it's asking me for my third lighting period. Now this is the beginning of the night for me from 6 p.m. to midnight. So again, I'm going to treat this as 0. I'm going to hit enter, enter. I'm going to hit enter here, and I'm going to bring this all the way to the end of the period, right? 11, which is 11:59. Okay, now this is the end of the day. It's the farthest you can go. And I'm going to hit 0 here because I want this to be so I'm going to bring this all the way down to 0 because I want this to be 0 just as my 12 to 6 p.m. was, or 6 a.m. was 0. So this is going to be overnight for me. I don't want any transition time because this is going from 0 to 0. And so I'm done. Now it's looking for the next program day. Now I want the next program day to be similar to the first program day that I just programmed. So I can say keep previous program day. This way you don't have to keep programming day after day after day. So I keep previous program, and let's say I want to keep that for 14 days. Let's say it's the brood and I want to go 14 days. Well, you can keep that, right? So now it's going to take you to your 16th program day, and let's say you want to program grow out. You can do that here if you'd like to, okay? So now what I'm going to do is, now that I'm done programming zone 1, I'm going to hit back. And if I wanted to program zone 2 the same way I program zone 1, so I don't have to go through all the work to program zone 2, I'm just going to hit program same. Now when I hit program same, that is going to keep it that way, and you can see now zone 2 has the same programming that zone 1 has. Okay, I'm going to hit back. If I wanted to erase any of this information, let's say I wanted to erase everything and start from scratch, I could do that by going below and hitting erase scheduler. Okay, or this also means erase program. If I wanted to go up and edit, I go to zone 1, I go to program day, I hit enter again, and I can go to any day I want here in the interface. I can go to any period I want. Say I wanted to go up to program 2, I can change these settings if I'd like to. Now if I want to then, once I'm finished the master programming, if I want to go to the master mode, I'm just going to come down here, and now I'm running it on the master mode. I can also tell it, run the current program from the day I start, or I can say go to a program day. Let's say I want to go to program day 13 because I'm already 13 days into the flock. I can choose to go to that program day to start, right? This gives you the flexibility to move around if you need to. Now you can see I'm at program day 13 and I'm running in master mode. So that's the high level for programming on the LifeLamp dimmer. Very simplistic, very easy to do. And if you have any additional questions, you can refer back to the LifeLamp manual as it provides additional details.